Welcome everybody to this week's ChannelTech VideoCast. I am your host, as always, Charlene O'Hanlon with the VAR Guy, and I am here, as always, with my co-host, Diane Krakora, CEO of PartnerPath. Hi Diane, how are you?
Hi Charlene. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. And this week we are blessed to have a guest joining us, Darren Bibby, who is with IDC. What is your exact title there, Darren?
Sure. I'm the Vice President of our Worldwide Channels and Alliances Research, so a team that looks at how vendors go to market with their partners. We look at their strategies, partner programs, enablement, marketing, all sorts, and then also looking at the business partners themselves, the VARs, the MSPs, SIs, etc., and figuring out what they want, how the trends in their world, and how they want to work with the vendors. So that's kind of my title and what we do here at my group at IDC.
Great. Well, sounds like you know a little bit about the channel then.
And I'm glad to chat with you guys because I respect your opinions more than I can't think of anyone else's.
Right.
No one else.
Laying it on thick there, Darren. Okay. Well, the last few weeks, Diane and I have been talking a little bit about some of the things that keep channel chiefs up at night, and it's been based on research that Diane's group has done. And last week we discussed the channel account managers, the people part of the equation,
yeah,
and really how their role is kind of changing, and whether channel chiefs are doing enough really to help them evolve as their roles evolve. So I encourage folks, if you haven't had a chance to watch last week's videocast, please do. It was really interesting conversation. At least I thought so. But this week we want to take a look at one of the other 5 things that are keeping channel chiefs up at night. And if you're following at home, there are 5 total that Diane's research has pulled up. Driving demand is one of them, and that is the topic that we'll be talking about today. The other 4 are new markets, ROI, enablement, and the people factor, which is what we discussed last week. So looking at driving demand, obviously that's got to be something that channel chiefs are constantly struggling with. And so maybe Diane, you could kind of cue it up a little bit and kind of talk about how that's changed maybe over the last couple of years as maybe new avenues of procurement or new ways of getting the message out have changed just the way vendors in general are doing business, and solution providers.
Yeah, and the purpose or the idea that it came from when we were talking to the channel chiefs about what was keeping them up at night is that now in the cloud world particularly, and Darren, I'm sure you know this with your cloud research as well, that one of the primary purposes of the solution provider or the channel in there is to really help drive demand. We always call it that we're going from a value-added reseller into a value-added relationship, right? And that the channel's roles and responsibility is really to drive that relationship with the customer, and really what most of the vendors are looking for is really the partner to drive demand more so than the implementation and the configuration that we've seen in years past as a traditional kind of reseller. So now the pressure is really on how do I engage and enable partners to go out there and find new customers for us or maintain that customer relationship and increase the footprint there.
So Darren, what are you guys seeing over at IDC? I mean, how's it changed? What's different today than even a couple of years ago?
Yeah, cloud has certainly been one impact to all of this, but driving demand has always been a battle between the vendor and the partners. They're literally both pointing at each other saying, "We think it's your job," and that has always gone on. That will continue to go on. One of the things that's changed the most, of course, in the last few years is that customers are just more educated. They figure things out on their own. In the old world, let's say, a VAR used to be able to have their salesperson, guide a customer through that buying journey, educate them, tell them what they need, tell them how they should even pick a vendor, pick a partner. So when that customer is ready to buy, they've been influenced the whole way by that salesperson. And today, you know, one of the latest research studies we did, I saw the other day, said that something like 65% of business-to-business buyers already know what they want to buy before they engage the salesperson. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you know, this whole sales-led model that most VARs and SIs and MSPs and all this have had kind of goes out the window a little bit, and marketing, driving demand, just it becomes so much more important. So that's something that a lot of partners are not prepared for. It's something they have to get better at. They have to move to, you know, some haven't been doing any marketing. They've got to start doing digital marketing. So there's almost 2 leaps they have to make in some cases. So those are a few things that have gone on at a high level that, yeah, the world has completely changed in this way. Marketing's so much more important.
And that's also why we're seeing some of the more progressive vendors take on some different initiatives to help educate partners on digital marketing, and even provide some, you know, digital marketing or marketing management software and solutions like Marketo and HubSpot, et cetera, to their partners to really help them understand that it is a different buyer's journey, and that you need to really be out there in developing content and having that out in the ecosystem, and having LinkedIn and being able to really be part of the conversation and be relevant while the customer is perusing the internet and determining what they want to buy. I mean, that's the same way we just bought the new truck too.
So Diane, you and I have been to Cisco Marketing Velocity. I think we both probably agree that that was one of the, you know, the best events in our industry for, you know, vendors helping partners learn marketing, get good at marketing. Would you agree that that was one of the better events that you know, in this realm that's going on? Yeah.
Absolutely, and I continue to hold it up as, you know, Marketing Velocity from Cisco. They spent, you know, 2.5 days talking about marketing, and maybe only said the word Cisco 3-4 times in the 2 days, which is great. It was really more about here's how you market. They brought in a lot of great industry speakers and leaders about what the new type of marketing is. I think it's something of, you know, fabulous for Cisco to continue to manage, and other people, quite frankly, to steal, and around how do we help partners market better.
As we did a kind of research study recently, Pam Miller from my team looked at, you know, what are some of the best vendor programs to help the business partners with marketing and learning digital marketing. So certainly Cisco Marketing Velocity was one, but it was funny that other vendors, I'm not going to really name them, but some of them said we've got Velocity Envy, and that they wanted to do what Cisco had done in that respect. But, you know, there were some other really good programs out there, and just to identify a few, again, of these kind of educational programs and resource programs for partners. Some vendors were providing LinkedIn training. So how do you go and do prospecting on LinkedIn? How do you not appear like a real schmuck and bothering people? So, and then that came with some kind of premium LinkedIn licenses for partners who signed up to this, or premium partners. So, you know, I thought that was a really innovative way to do it. And then there's just been a bunch of other programs, maybe smaller versions of Velocity, you know, webinars and local regional trainings that partners could go to. But we're certainly seeing a lot of the best vendors responding and helping their partners to learn more about marketing, and in this new world where it is really the number one. One of the partners a while back recently told me that in the old days, marketing could pass off a 20% qualified lead, and these days you have to pass off a 40% qualified lead. Just because of cloud, just because of the economics of cloud, really, you can't afford to spend all this time on one-to-one sales like these guys are used to. Marketing has to pull more of the weight. So.
Well, that's interesting. So that actually expands the role of marketing in this new cloud environment. But yeah, I wonder if you guys can maybe give me an idea of how many vendors, you know, what percentage, what vendors are really out there right now trying their best to help their solution provider partners kind of engage in this new way of working with customers and getting their message across and getting, you know, driving that demand for them. I mean, is it still a minority of companies, or are you seeing kind of a not really snowballing, but gathering speed and maybe more folks helping out their solution provider partners than maybe in the past?
Yeah, more than ever, and maybe Diane, you could go first. And as you know, my background's always been more on the software side. So if you take some of the hardware vendors, I could take the software vendors. Is that a good deal?
Sure, but what is Cisco?
Yeah.
I don't want to get any more here.
They have stuff they can hit you with, and it would hurt, but they're also trying to be a software company. I think we're seeing more, as particularly the large guys, right? Darren can, we'll throw SAP in there. I know that they're doing a lot to help educate their partners on new marketing. They've done a lot of road shows. We've seen guys, like Cisco and Palo Alto Networks and some of the larger guys that have the MDF budgets to be able to do that as well, and bring some of the together. We haven't really seen it really move that far down into the smaller guys. I think they're taking advantage of the education that some of the larger vendors are providing and trying to still be innovative with the campaigns or the assets that they have out there, but they're not doing the education as much as the larger guys.
And I'd say from a software perspective, I mean, you have all of the biggest companies doing something interesting. Microsoft, I think, has been very good at some of the marketing assets they've made available, some of the training they've made available, and they've made a lot of business transformation training available. So marketing as a part of the bigger transformation to go to cloud and these other things. So they've got certainly lots and lots of assets, and they do a lot of amazing things in the subsidiaries worldwide. SAP, you mentioned, they do some terrific things. They've got a long list of what they're doing. I'd say, IBM too. They've done quite a bit in terms of marketing, and they've constantly kind of analyzed what amount of money and how they can give that money out in terms of co-op and MDF funds. So that's been a big focus of giving more and more away. But there's always rules around what they can give away. And I'd say Oracle, what's been interesting about Oracle is they tend to be one who's working with a lot of digital agencies. There's sort of a lot of stories about that. So driving a different kind of demand, if you will, for a different kind of product with a different kind of partner. So those are a few anecdotes from the software side.
Interesting. Well, it sounds like the driving demand issue isn't going to be going away anytime soon, and it also sounds like there's real opportunity for the vendors to get out there and really drive innovative marketing and help their solution provider partners get on the bandwagon, if you will, and and take that next step. And you're right. I mean, if a lot of the solution providers haven't done really any marketing in the past, and now all of a sudden they have to go to digital marketing, I think it's going to be super important that the vendors really understand this and help their solution provider partners, because those are the guys that their partners will remember and want to go back to. And it's, I hate to say it, but it's a win-win for both companies. I hate to use that term, so please don't hold it against me. So anyway, we'd love to hear what you have to think, or what you have to say about this this particular topic, and obviously all the topics that we talk about on the ChannelTech VideoCast. We'd also love to hear your ideas for future topics, so please feel free to use that comment box below us and let us know what you think. You can also put your comments in over at the PartnerPath website, which is www.partner-path.com. I'm sure Diane and her crew would love to hear from you. And for now, though, I would like to thank Darren Bibby for joining us. Always a pleasure to see you, Darren.
You too.
Great.
See you, Darren.
And Diane, always a pleasure to see you as well.
Yeah, I'm just old hat. I get you every week. You got your shiny new Darren over there.
Well, there's something to be said about whatever. Anyway, so next week, it kind of something different. Speaking of, we've got our Channel Directions live event happening in Tampa, Florida, and I'll actually be live on stage doing the ChannelTech VideoCast on Monday evening, Eastern Time. Stay tuned for details on that. But unfortunately, Diane won't be at the event, but Ryan Morris of Morris Partners is going to be joining me on stage for that. So stay tuned for that. And Diane, maybe you and I can hook up again later next week and do another ChannelTech VideoCast. We'll figure that out.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. Sorry I can't be there on Monday.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But for now, I'd like to thank you, our audience, for joining us, and we'll see you next week.